If you've ever gone into an unfamiliar shopping mall trying to find a particular store, you know the feeling. An endless maze of shops and kiosks clamor for your attention, and you hardly know where to begin. But before you can say, "Where am I?" you spot the friendly sight of the mall directory and search for the reassuring red arrow or dot that tells you you are here. It's no accident that one of the directories is always parked near the entrance door, so shoppers have an opportunity to get their bearing right away. Similarly, consider the opening shot in any film you've seen. From the very beginning, the first thing you see tells you where you are. It can be as obvious as an airport terminal, or as subtle as a close-up on a bathroom faucet. Before you learn anything about who, what, or when, the first thing your mind goes searching for is where. Once we know where we are, we're no longer geographically disoriented. When reading a book, we have no such visual cue to establish our whereabouts. Thoughtfully, the classics of literature provide readers with that information very early on. Consider these opening lines from famous novels. Amerigo Bonacera sat in New York Criminal Court No. 3 and waited for justice. Renowned curator Jacques Saunière staggered through the vaulted archway of the museum's Grand Gallery. At the beginning of July, during a spell of exceptionally hot weather, towards evening, a certain young man came down onto the street from the little room he rented. He was an old man who fished alone in a skiff in the Gulf Stream. Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of No. 4 Privet Drive were proud to say that they were perfectly normal. Mr. Sherlock Holmes, who was usually very late in the mornings, save upon those not infrequent occasions when he was up all night, was seated at the breakfast table. Sir Arthur liked getting who, what, when, and where out of the way very quickly. Now that doesn't mean the first sentence always has to declare where. Call me Ishmael, and it was the best of times, it was the worst of times, had other business to get out of the way. But within moments you do discover your whereabouts. When we're dreaming up our own scenarios, we are intimately attuned to our characters, their actions, and their dialogue. We have vivid images of all that. The location, however, can often seem merely incidental to us, almost a nuisance to have to include. But the reader needs that comforting sense of place early on, as well as any time the scene changes. All those establishing shots in movies answer what would otherwise be a continually nagging question. We don't even have to think about where we are, but we definitely would if we hadn't been shown already. Admittedly, having to come up with something interesting to write in order to acknowledge each changing scene isn't nearly as fun as describing the characters' personalities or penning their clever patter. But your readers will appreciate that nod of consideration. They will be right there in the scene with you if you give them the mile markers that point to the starting gate.